With Christy Lynn outside, coming to you from the dining room, where I am gonna be sowing some seeds for tomatoes and lettuce. So I know that tomatoes are almost everybody's favorite thing to grow because it's so challenging and there are so many different varieties. So we're gonna start off with, I broke it down into two different types, in indeterminate and determinate. And I did that because breaking it down into the beefsteak and slicers, and I was gonna mix everything all up. So I'm just gonna go start with my indeterminates, do my determinants, and then we'll do the lettuces. And I have a extra surprise, which is gonna be my entry into the hashtag Tomato Challenge 2025 growing challenge for the biggest single tomato. I kind of let the cat out of the bag on my last video and announced the type of tomato that I'm going to be growing for the challenge. Only because I thought it was funny that me and several other people chose the same variety. I thought I was gonna be smart. Well, guess what, guys? Y'all just gonna have to move over and I'm gonna become the queen because I'm gonna take over. Just letting you know. Okay, that was pretty presumptuous of me, seeing as how I can't grow tomatoes very well. But I'm gonna give it my best shot. And we're gonna grow some big tomatoes. We're gonna have a big Zach war. But I'm gonna plant these in separate, larger pots, baby them, give them some extra love and attention, and just maybe they will do better for me than anything did for me last year. So let's get started. So I started off by, I'm gonna be doing 2 plants of each variety. So I started off by labeling my 6-packs with my handy dandy new brother label maker that I love. By the way, I'm probably gonna get in trouble and have labels all over the place soon. But everything is labeled already, pre-labeled, and we will go over each variety as I plant them. Also, in addition to tomatoes and lettuce, I'm gonna be planting some basil varieties as well. I have a few extra cells here, and basil is the perfect companion plant for tomatoes to keep the bugs away and to make pesto and some great stuff and add to your salads. Great stuff. So I do have, well, 3-ish varieties of basil that I'm going to be planting today as well. Okay, so I'm just going to take a little dibber today. There's several different ways you can sow seeds in seed starting trays. You can make little holes and plant the seeds and then pack them down. You can surface sow and then sprinkle it with another light dusting of either perlite or vermiculite or potting soil. Because I'm inside in my dining room, I'm just gonna poke a little hole in the cells and sow the seeds and pack them down, because a light dusting of anything in here is gonna become a huge mess and I don't feel like cleaning all of that up. So we're just gonna start off with, I'm just gonna put little holes in every single one of these. Okay, now for the lettuces, I'm not going to plant them in a hole. I'm just gonna surface sow them and pack them down with my fingers because lettuce actually needs light to germinate. So the lettuce is just going to be surface sowed. If I have to go in with a light dusting of soil or potting mix or perlite, I will, but I'm just going to give them time probably just to germinate as is. Okay, I'm gonna be starting with the indeterminate varieties, and I will be reading to you some of their descriptions. I had to go get my glasses so I could read. We're gonna start with the delicious tomato, which is an indeterminate beefsteak variety that can get between 2 to 3 pounds. It was known to grow over 7 pounds, but they did not say when that world record was. So this was one of the varieties that I was contemplating using in the hashtag Tomato Challenge 2025, but I decided to go with another variety for fun reasons. But I am still going to grow the delicious, and if it exceeds the size of my other one, then so be it, but it's not gonna be entered into the challenge. So I'm just gonna put 2 seeds per cell for 2 cells, and hopefully I'll get at least 2 plants out of that. Now the next one is Early Girl. Early Girl is an F1 hybrid that is bred to produce early, hence its name. Now it is a medium-sized globe tomato, so it's a good slicing tomato, good salad tomato. It produces heavily and longer than most early developing tomatoes. It is also an indeterminate, and this was actually the one of the only ones that actually fruited in my garden last year, even though I sowed them super late. Now the next one is Red Torch, which is a large snacking grape style tomato, known for its bright red color with yellow streaking, which resembles a flame or a torch. And I believe I have enough. Yeah, I do. I have enough. This is an indeterminate also. And like I said, it's a grape style, so it's gonna be pretty prolific. Hopefully. I tried it last year, but it didn't do much. All right, so Red Torch. Now these are larger on the cherry grape style tomatoes. They're about a 2-inch long, 1.5 ounce tomato. This one is my favorite cherry tomato so far. It's the Tommy Toe. This one has done very, very well for me in the past. Even when nothing else was fruiting and growing, my Tommy Toe was just popping with cherry tomatoes. M.I. Gardner describes this one as a tomato with attitude. And I have to 100% agree, because it was all over the place. This is an indeterminate cherry tomato that is vigorous and very heat tolerant, which is probably why it did so well in my Central Louisiana heat last summer and summer before. This one is another indeterminate cherry tomato. It's the black cherry. It is also supposed to be a vigorous producer. It has deep red tomatoes with a blackish hue, but honestly, the picture shows that they're mostly black. The description says that they have a very rich, complex, sweet, fruity flavor. And some have said that it tastes like cherry lifesavers. I'm gonna have to get back to you on that one. But hey, if it does, I mean, I love me some cherry lifesavers. So if not, I mean, I also love cherry tomatoes. So we'll see. The black cherry. Okay, this one is the Sun Gold. It is another cherry tomato variety. It's indeterminate also. It is a orange gold color. It's a smaller cherry tomato than any of the other cherry tomatoes that I'm planting today. It's got a firm texture and a sweet, fruity flavor. It is also resistant to Fusarium wilt and to tobacco mosaic virus. So orange and gold tomatoes are actually higher in niacin, which is vitamin B3, than any other tomato variety. They are also lower acid tomatoes, which are perfect for people that love tomatoes but have sensitive stomachs. So if you have a sensitive stomach and you love tomatoes, you choose some orange or gold colored tomatoes. The next variety, the next indeterminate variety that I'm gonna plant this year is another beefsteak. And I actually have not got those seeds in yet. They're on their way. They should be here soon. And they are the Great White Beefsteak. These were another variety that I was contemplating using in the #Tomato Challenge 2025 because they can get up to 2 pounds. They are a creamy white flavor with a yellowish hue, and they have a very, very creamy, fruity flavor, apparently, with hints of citrus, pineapple, melon, and guava. They're also very heat tolerant, which is a great choice for my area. So as soon as those get in, I'm gonna sow those right here, and those will be going in my beefsteak garden. Okay, so these varieties of tomatoes that I'm going to be planting are all determinate varieties, which mean that they are a bushier style tomato plant that fruits basically all at once. If you want to make a sauce and you want a lot of tomatoes all at once, a determinate variety is a perfect variety to use. Many of these are slicers. Some of them are cherry tomatoes. I don't think any of these are beefsteaks, but some of them are larger slicers, I think. Okay, so the first determinate variety we'll be planting is the Tachi variety from Haas Tools. It is disease resistant. It is also root knot nematode resistant, which I had some problems with root knot nematodes in my garden last year, and I think that may have contributed to my poor production, along with some other things that happened last year as well. My late planting and the fact that my boyfriend sprayed Roundup around the garden, which stunted everything, but we're not gonna talk about that. So Tachi tomato, a red Roma style tomato, root knot nematode resistant, disease resistant, and determinate growing style. Okay, next is the Gold Nugget tomato. It is a yellow determinate cherry variety. So this one will develop fruit much earlier than any of the other cherry tomato varieties. It is also sweet and fruity and low acid, like all the other orange and yellow varieties. So Gold Nugget. Next is the Marglobe tomato. It is a medium-sized globe red tomato that is determinate and is known for canning. They are disease resistant and crack resistant. So, Marglobe. And next is Floridade, which was developed by the University of Florida in 1970s. It is heat tolerant and resistant to early blight. It is also a medium-sized globe red tomato that is great for slicing. So, Floridade. Next is the red snapper, which is a large to extra large slicer. It is heat tolerant. It is also resistant to, don't let me say this wrong, verticillium and fusarium wilt, and it's also nematode resistant. This one also, I think, was pretty popular last year. So this is the red snapper. Next is the Principe Borghese. I tried to grow this one in the fall and early fall, and my timing was just a little off. It did grow very well, and it was one of the only ones that actually produced some fruit for me in the fall. So I'm excited to try this spring. It is a plum style tomato, and it is great for drying. So I would love to be able to preserve some sun-dried tomatoes if these do well. Principe Borghese. Okay, last on the determinant tomato list is the Hausinator. This is a hybrid tomato from Haus Tools. It is a large globe style red tomato that is highly disease resistant, apparently very productive from what I hear, and has a great flavor. So, Hausinator. All right, I'm gonna move this tray out of the way just for a minute and bring in my hashtag Tomato Challenge 2025 tomatoes. These are the Big Zack from Seeds and Such. Like I said earlier and in my other video, several of us in the challenge have decided to grow this one, obviously because it says that it can grow up to, 6 or 7 pounds, which I highly doubt. But we're gonna give this a try. I'm super excited. I'm hoping that starting these early in January are gonna give us a head start on some really huge, healthy plants. So let's get going. I'm planting these in larger containers because I'm going to pay a little bit extra attention to them, water them, feed them a little better. Probably not, I'll probably just feed them the same as everything else. So just to highlight that these are my hashtag Tomato Challenge 2025 tomato submissions. Big Zack times 2. Not very many seeds in this pack, by the way. All right. I'm gonna plant 2 in each of these, and the best one out of these 2, just so I hopefully actually get 2 plants. So let the war begin. Okay, so for the rest of these, I'm not gonna bore you with making you watch me plant every single one. I just have a couple different basil varieties and some heading lettuce varieties that I'm gonna be planting so that I can transplant them into the garden next month. So the basil that I'm going to be planting is red Reuben, which is a purplish reddish variety of basil, and the purple ruffles, which was a free seed from Seeds. The purple ruffles, that was a free seed from Seeds and Such. For my last basil is going to be a basil mix that I saved seed from last year. It's a mixture of sweet basil and Thai basil that I had in my garden. I just threw all the seed heads in one bag, and I'm not being too picky with that one. Now for the lettuces, all of these are heading lettuces. Some of them are colored, some of them are green, and some of them didn't do so well for me when I tried to plant them in the fall. They bolted immediately. So we're gonna try them again by starting them from seed indoors and then transplanting them outdoors in about 4 weeks. And the varieties that we're gonna try are Derussi, Tennis Ball, Little Jim, Pablo, and Butter Crunch. So you can come with me in about a month and we'll be transplanting those out in the garden. So I hope you all enjoyed this video of starting seeds for tomatoes, and maybe you learned a little bit from some of the things that I learned as well today. And hopefully these will grow and fruit for me, because I really want to make some sauce this year, and I really want to make some sun-dried tomatoes this year and salsa. So best of luck to everyone in the Tomato Challenge 2025. You're looking at the new queen, so keep growing.